Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. My name is Allison and today I am talking all about my 2021 TBR. I am so excited for the next year and I am like so ready to just start planning all of the things that I want to read. So today I'm talking about the books I want to reread, the books that are releasing that I want to read, and then some of the books that I am carrying over from 2020 because I did not accomplish my goal of having 0 unread books on my shelves at the end of 2020 because I've been too busy to really read all that much, and 2020 has been a weird year for reading. So I'm going to talk about those 3 things, and because it's probably going to get a little bit long, I'm going to try not to make it long. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to talk about the books that are releasing next year that I would like to read. And obviously I don't have any of them, so I'm gonna have to like pop a picture up right here of each cover, and I will also put them in the description box. So, and these are in no particular order, like I don't know when they're gonna get released or if they even have release dates. They're just tentatively supposed to get published in 2021. So, the first book on that list is A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer, and this is the 3rd book in the Cursebreakers trilogy. I am hesitant, like I want to read this book, but I also like don't want to read it because the end of, what was the second book? A Heart So Fierce and Broken. That was the second book, I think. Just the ending was super bad letdown for me, so I'm excited to read it because I kind of hope that she fixes what the heck she did in the end of the last book, and then I kind of don't want to because I'm worried it's just going to be more disappointing. So there's that one. The next book is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. It's the continuation of the ACOTAR series. Again, another book that I'm interested in reading, but not super interested in reading just because I don't... Basically, I'm just let down that it's not another Feyre and Rysand book, okay? That's the issue right there. That's the problem. And it's all on me. It has nothing to do with, you know, Sarah J. Maas or whatever. I'm gonna read it just for the other characters. So, yeah. The next book on my list is The Mask Falling by what's her name? Samantha Shannon, and it is the 4th book in the Bone Season series. I'm so excited for this one because I've been waiting like forever for this book to come out. I'm really excited about that one. I just really like that series. I think it's great and more people need to read it and talk about it. The next book I have on my list is The Gilded Ones, and I can't remember the author of this book, but it is, I want to say it's a debut novel, but it's a YA fantasy, and I'm pretty sure it has something to do with African mythology, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. I'm going to link it below to Goodreads, so you guys can go read the synopsis if you want to. I want to read it because the cover is really pretty, and the synopsis also intrigued me, so... there's that one. The next book on my list is Bonecryer's Dawn, which is the sequel to Bonecryer's Moon, and I'm excited to read it because holy crap, the ending of Bonecryer's Moon was a little bit yikes. So I kind of need to know what happens. I need to know what the heck is going on, and yeah, I just need to know all the things. The next book on my list doesn't have a title. It's Crescent City #2. That one I'm obviously super excited to read because I absolutely loved Crescent City. I can't wait for the sequel to come out, and could there pretty please be more Rune in this book? I love him. He is my favorite. I have a joke that Rune is my book boyfriend and Rysand is my book husband, so I don't know. I'm just really excited. Anything that has to do with Rysand and Rune, I'm like, yes please, give me more. The next book on my list is Red Rising #6, and this one also doesn't have a title and also doesn't really have a publication date other than the year 2021, so I'm kind of scared that it's not going to get released or published or whatever next year. I'm going to be really sad if it doesn't, but I just really need to know what happens to my poor babies. I really love that series. And the last book, Dark Age, was just heartbreaking, and I'm really scared. I'm really scared for what's gonna happen in the last book. I'm just all paranoid, and I don't want my babies to all, you know, die, which is probably what's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna be okay. I'm not gonna be okay about it. The next book on my list, or the last book on this, these are all books that are gonna get released, potentially going to get released in 2021. The last book on this list is Reaper of Souls, which is the sequel to Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I just read Kingdom of Souls. I just finished it like a week ago, and oh my goodness, was that a good book. I loved it. It was so good. More people need to read it, and more people need to talk about it. It's really, 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 really good. I loved the plot. I loved the characters. It was so good. And I super duper can't wait for the next book. Also, the US covers of these things are pretty dang awesome. If you haven't, you'll see it. It's going to be right here. It's beautiful. I love it so much. So that is all of the books on my list for new releases for 2021. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up my stack of books that I want to reread in 2021. I have quite a big list. I didn't reread very many books this year. So like I've dubbed 2021 the year of the reread. So I'm going to be spending a lot of my time rereading my favorites. And I'm just going to go ahead and start. This stack is pretty big, so I'm just going to go ahead and start. So I'm not going to read these in any particular order, just whenever I feel like it. But the first in my stack is Harry Potter. I'm always like, basically I'm doing like a continual reread of this series. Like I started rereading it at the beginning of 2020, and I only made it to the third book. So this is the next book that I'm on for my continual reread of Harry Potter. And next year when I want to pick up Harry Potter again, I will be starting with The Goblet of Fire. The next book on my list is The Two Towers. I reread The Fellowship of the Ring in 2019, I think, and then I tried reading The Two Towers right after that, and I just couldn't get into it. I wasn't in the mood for it. I've read this book. I am obsessed with the movies. Legolas is my OG book boyfriend. So, I adore this series so much, and I really just want to finish my reread of it because it's been literally like 20 years since I read this book. Wow, that makes me feel really old. Okay, we're just not going to talk about how long it's been since I read this book the first time. Yikes, has it been that long? I think it maybe has only been like 17 years, but that's still a stupidly long time. Okay, we're just going to be done talking about that. I just want to finish rereading The Two Towers and The Return of the King, and then obviously I'm going to have some movie marathons in there because why not? If only for the Orlando Bloom eye candy. I can't help it. The next book on my list, or series on my list, is Anne of Green Gables. This is another series that I read a really long time ago. Like, I was in high school when I read it, so we're not going to talk about that anymore. Stop talking about how old you are. And I've been dying to get back into this world. Anne and Gilbert are just my fave. They're adorable. I love them so much. And I really want to reread this series because I just want all the nostalgia. I just want all the nostalgic books next year. That's what I want. Next on my list is Throne of Glass. I am going to reread this entire series next year. I did not reread it this year. I first read it in 2019 and it kicked my butt. It's huge, it's long, it's intense, it's crazy. I'm just really excited about it, and I am actually planning on doing this reread with my husband. We both read the series kind of together for the first time. And we both really liked it. I'm kind of hoping my opinion of it will go up this time that I'm reading it because now I have a better idea and scope of what the story is about. So I'm really excited to reread these and see if my feelings about the series change. The next book on my list is Red Rising. Did I read this? Not this year. I read this in 2019 and I am obsessed. The original Red Rising trilogy is everything that I need in my life, and I just I really wanted to reread it this year, but I was like, I don't have time. It's been too soon since I read it the first time. I'm gonna just wait until 2021. So I'm definitely gonna be rereading this series, especially to prepare for, that's another reason why I waited, because I wanted to wait until closer to the release date of the last book, because I do plan on rereading all of the books that are out, all 5 of them. So that was another reason why I pushed my reread back to next year. Or up to next year, whatever. The next book on my list is The Bone Season, and this is another one of those series that I've been waiting forever for the next book to come out, and it's supposed to get published next year. So I'm going to reread the series in anticipation of that. I absolutely love this series. I'm sure the more books that I read, the more that is going to increase, and it might end up being one of my top favorite series, which is saying something if you know me at all. I'm very, I'm not like stingy with my book ratings, but I'm very picky about which books I decide to be obsessed with, because I literally can't afford to be obsessed with all of the book series. It's a thing. So I'm really excited to reread this. I think this story, plot, I don't know, it's really interesting, and I really liked it. The next book on my list is Strange the Dreamer. I am planning on reading both books in the duology. I just grabbed one, because it's easier. So, I reread this in like 2018 or something. It's been a really long time, and This year I read her Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and I immediately wanted to pick this up and read it because her writing is just the best thing on planet Earth. And I didn't let myself pick it up and read it because I just had too many other things to do, and I wanted to read all of my books that I'd had for a while. So I'm going to reread this in 2021. The next book is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yes, I am reading the entire series, the entire trilogy. I don't count the new book as part of the original trilogy because it's not part of the original trilogy. Like, it's about different characters. Yes, those characters are in ACOTAR, but they're not, like, I don't know. It's a spin-off series, and that's how I'm treating it, so you can hate me for that if you want. I really don't care. But it's funny that I'm talking about rereading this next year because I'm actually rereading the series right now. Like, I just started A Court of Wings and Ruin a couple of days ago because I reread it at the end of the year. The last 3 months of the year is I pick one of these a month and I read them. So it's kind of weird to be talking about rereading this next year, but I'm not planning on rereading it until, October. That's when I'm going to pick this one up. And then the last book I have on my reread list is Eldest. I reread Aragon in September this year, and I obviously wanted to pick up Eldest and read that one too, and then the other 2 books, but I didn't let myself do it. So I'm definitely planning on rereading the rest of the series next year, and I might end up making this an annual thing because I love this series so much. So that is it for my books I want to reread. And then the last set of books I have for this video are the books that I have carried over from 2020, or will carry over from 2020 to 2021. It's kind of a big stack. Well, it's not really. It's not a super big stack. I have 9 books, so I'm only going to be carrying over 9 books from 2020 to 2021, which is really not that bad. It could be a lot worse. So, and it might even be less than that depending on how much time I take to read this month. I've been really bad about, like, allowing myself time to read. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and just get started with this list. So the first one on this list is The Hunter and the Mage. This is the sequel to The Raven and the Dove, which I absolutely adored. And I think the 3rd book is supposed to come out sometime next year, like soonish. I don't even know. I can't keep up with these release dates anymore. Like, some series take forever for the next book to get released, and then other series it's like bam, 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 and I'm like, I haven't even, I don't know. I'm slacking. I'm a slacker. So, this book is it's actually a highly anticipated read for me because I really enjoyed the first one, and I was super surprised and was not expecting to enjoy it at all whatsoever. But this one, definitely am looking forward to that one. It's one of those books that I might read this month in December if I have time, but I'm not really sure. The next book on my list is The Poppy War by R.F. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to mess it up. This book I have seen on Instagram here and there. I literally don't know anything about it. I just know that it's really intense, and I'm kind of getting like, it's a fantasy, not a sci-fi, but I'm getting Red Rising vibes from it. Like, if you've read Red Rising, then you know how like intense and like the topics are just super like heavy, and it's a really important story. And I'm kind of thinking that this one is the same way, which is why I picked it up, because I'm just feeling, next year I'm just feeling like I need all of the heavy topics to read. I don't know why. That sounds really depressing, but I love books that deal with very hard topics, and like, they're just dark, and the characters are just always fighting to survive and make it to the next thing, and you never know if they're gonna like live or die. That's like, I love that kind of writing, and I'm really excited to get to this one. Next on my list is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I literally know nothing about this book other than I like the cover, and I think it's a sci-fi. It might be a fantasy. I'm not really sure. I've seen this a little bit on Instagram, but not that much, and I don't know. I bought it because of the cover. So yeah, there's that. The next book on my list is A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. My husband read this book, and he said it was really good. He wants to read the second one that just released, and I also had this one on my like book wish list, so he wanted to read it, and I was like, well, I want to read it too, so you might as well just pick it up, and then we can both read it whenever we have time. So I think this is like a Viking type book. I'm not entirely 100% sure. I forbid Aaron from telling me anything about it. I was like, you just don't talk, because I want to read this too. So I don't really know anything about it, even though he read it. The next book on my list is heavy, apparently. This is Dune by Frank Herbert. I picked this up because it's beautiful. Okay, that's not the only reason. I've actually been really intrigued by this book ever since it made like a big comeback this year. I literally had never heard of it before. I just heard that it's like it's considered a classic sci-fi, and I was like, I think I might want to try that out. And then I saw this really pretty copy at my favorite indie bookstore, and I was like, I need that copy, and I guess I'm reading it now. So this is a book that I'm definitely looking forward to reading in 2021. The next book on my list is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I am really excited to read this book. I don't know, just the cover is beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful. I'm excited to read it, even though the Stalking Jack the Ripper series was a bit of a letdown for me. I am still excited to read this book, and I'm definitely willing to give it a shot. I think it's going to be a really entertaining read. I really hope there's going to be some sassy banter going on in this one, like there was in the Stalking Jack the Ripper books. The next book on my list is The Binding by Bridget Collins. I bought this because, well, I've had it on my wish list for a really long time, and I literally don't know anything about it. I just know that I wanted to read it. And then the book after that is The Betrayal, also by Bridget Collins. This one just came out in November. And I don't know if it's a sequel or if it's about a character that's in the Binding. It might be. I'm not 100. I think they're related because the covers look really similar. But this one is, I don't know. It's really pretty. It's the Waterstones exclusive edition, and I really like it. And I bought it mostly because it's pretty, but also because I want to read it. And then the last book I have in this stack is The Girl and the Stars by Mark Lawrence. this is a new release of his. I've heard lots of good things about all of his other books that he's written. I just haven't read anything else by him. I've had this one on my shelves for a little while, and I'm excited to read it, and I'm hoping that if I like this one, I'll also pick up some of his other books that he's written. So I have one more book, and I didn't grab it, but I just got it yesterday in a Fairy Loot box. It's called These Violent Delights, and I'm not gonna get up and go get it because I don't want to. But that is another book that I will be carrying over from 2020 to 2021. And there's going to be other ones, but I decided just to film this one early, and you'll see them in later videos because I'm sure they'll be on my TBR videos for next year. So that is it for my 2021 TBR. Those are all the books that I am looking forward to reading and rereading and buying and reading. So yeah, that's kind of a longish video, but there was a lot of books that I talked about. If you made it all the way to the end, yay, you're awesome. And I hope that was a bit of, you know, like a little bit relaxing. I hope you remembered to grab a snack and a drink or whatever and snuggled in and had some fun watching me stumble over my words and talk about books for literally way too long. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!